How's it going, guys? It's Burgess here and welcome to another Heroes of History Epic Empire video. Today, in this Heroes of History Epic Empire Ludwig II of Bavaria review video, we're going to talk about this hero right here. Now, I was thinking, should I actually go with also Catherine in this video, but I didn't actually feel like going there. But yeah, I'm going to make two separate videos about these two heroes just because they're very interesting. And for example, Ludwig II of Bavaria is presenting a new mechanic in this game that can completely change the picture and how the things are working for the defenders, because Ludwig is, even though that he's a cavalry one, he's also a defender. So let's start with the first thing first. Is players misunderstand Ludwig completely, and I'm going to explain why. Now, some people are checking out this hero and see that repels us enemy with the radius of 3. By the way, I really don't like this thing, radius of 3 or anything around himself. This is one of my red flags when I'm checking one hero. If the hero is something like around himself, even though the 3 is pretty decent radius, still it's like around himself. I really don't like this thing. Around himself for 0.5 seconds, this is basically nothing. 0.5 seconds is your eye blink and 0.5 seconds is finished. Now, what is the main mechanic here? He's summoning this dream castle with the HP 25% of his max HP and defense equal to 100% of the defense at the location of the nearest enemy. And this castle, very important, not the hero, the castle he summoned, the dream castle, taunts all enemy for 4 seconds. So you're having this sacrificing castle there that is going to eat all of the damage of incoming damage till your heroes are slowly, building their rage so they can cast their spell. So this is actually very nice buying time, this dream castle, and at the same time is removing the attention of the troops from the hero to this castle. And from the initial charge of this hero is like 2.4 seconds. This is very fast at the beginning. A regular charge 8 seconds. If you have something like 4 seconds taunt and the regular charge is 8 seconds, that means by having this Ludwig II of Bavaria on the battlefield, 50% from the time the enemy heroes is going to be taunted by this castle. Because like 4% after this taunt finish, but after every 8 seconds you cast this spell, it's just making like 50% from the time the enemy is going to get taunted. And I think this is one of the things the player misunderstand. And still, the battlefield control matter more than raw sustain. Sometimes this is something that I strongly believe, because Dream Castle change enemy targeting behavior completely. Again, 50%. Now, why I like this Dream Castle is just because it's not going to be targeted by the enemy are not going to target your heroes. So your heroes is going to be saved. They're going to be on the sweet spot, not getting any kind of damage. Obviously, this Dream Castle, this thing need testing. I want to point out this thing, but if the Dream Castle taunts the enemy, obviously it's also going to taunt the heroes. What is happening with the skills that are prioritizing heroes? From my personal opinion, it should shoot at the heroes. So for example, if Robin Hood, prioritizing heroes, or William Tell shoot, they're going to hit a hero, not going to hit this castle, because this castle is not actually a hero. So this thing needs little testing, but I believe prioritizing heroes means shooting at heroes. So this is one of the things that I believe players misunderstand in this whole flow that this hero are creating with this extra castle. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is why Howard Carter feels stronger early compared to the Ludwig. Okay, where is this bad boy? I want to make some comparison, and let's talk about the Howard against Ludwig. Now, Howard Carter is pure sustained focused heavy infantry. So I'm just going to go and select defenders, even though that Ludwig is actually a cavalry hero, and what was the name? Yeah, Howard Carter is actually a heavy infantry. Still, Howard is pure sustained focused heavy infantry. Missing HP healing creates huge recovery moments for this hero. This is the ability. I'm just making from point of defenders a little comparison, but still at the end I'm going to say what is the biggest advantage of Ludwig over those heroes. Now Howard survives mistakes extremely well early game. So you cannot get wrong with him. New hero love, visible healing and comfort value. And Ludwig creates prevention instead of recovery. So yeah, the Ludwig is not having any kind of healing. He's basically just dropping this dream castle. But in the same time, Howard is having this extra healing, heal himself 30% of the missing HP. Also, I can say here we're having some shield. So you see the King Minos and Howard, one is getting some healing. The other one is getting this shield. And if you compare this thing with Ludwig, you're going to see that Ludwig is just dropping this castle. So yeah, since I started talking about the King Minos against Ludwig, King Minos is strongest anti-burst defense option. Massive shield scaling, absorb dangerous opening pressure. I mean, from point of scaling is like 1110%. Minos has stronger immediate survivability overall, and defense increase also boosts frontline durability significantly. But Minos suffered terribly regular charge speed. So yeah, you can see that regular charge is 10.4 seconds till the Ludwig one is like 8 seconds. Now some people are going to say, what is 2.4 seconds? Well, to be fair, it's not that much, but it stack up. Every 5 turns, Ludwig is going, or every 4 turns, Ludwig is going to have 1 extra cast at the end of the day. So, you know, it may not look much, but with the time, the things stack up and make huge difference between these two heroes. And yeah, talking about the Cid against the Ludwig, Cid is awkward hybrid tank damage frontline hero. This is Cid. Yeah, I'm not so sure I should compare him with the Ludwig, but I just want to give my perspective from the defenders compared to the Ludwig. Attack reduction provides decent defensive team support. You know, the less attack the enemy are having, the better. Area line damage helps wave clearing situation slightly, and Cid also has surprisingly stronger self-healing value. This is level 1, this is at level 25. Deals some damage, reduce attack by 42%, heal himself to close to 1k of his base damage. I really don't know why the game come with numbers like 987%. What this supposed to mean at the end of the day? Now the other defender, epic defender I want to compare Ludwig is going to be the Philip II. Let me open the Philip II. Philip II has stronger shield value among the 4-star heroes. Shield explosion create additional AoE pressure later, and Philip performs extremely well against clustered enemy teams. Downed plus Giant Shield creates reliable frontline stability. Yeah, but we're not having any kind of shielding, any kind of HP, even though still I strongly believe this Dream Castle can be extremely valuable, just because the moment the enemy finish or destroy this Dream Castle, first of all, the next Dream Castle is going to drop very fast because it's like regular charge 8 seconds. But the other thing is, it's like 35% of his HP, and he's not going to get killed. You know, when you go for the heroes, the moment the enemy go over one hero, this is the moment where you actually risking your hero to get killed, because all the focus with the taunt is going over this hero. That's why a lot of people have complaints about the Tutankhamun, and I also have complaints because I actually use him in the treasure hunt, where I strongly believe this hero can shine a lot, but it's very hard because he's having so fast this taunt. It's like 0.8 seconds initial charge, so everybody jump over this hero, and your healer don't have this time to actually do a healing over Tutankhamun. So yeah, I totally understand this thing, but still, Philip II is going to give a pretty nice taunt and shield, which for my perspective still is putting Philip at risk. Not like Ludwig, because Ludwig, again, this is like two separate heroes. Let's say it's Dream Castle, but it can be just a normal clone himself with 25% HP. So you're basically having two figures at the battlefield, not just one, which I think is a huge advantage. Huge advantage for Ludwig. Now, who is the best for campaigning? Campaigning progression, reward, consistency over flashy mechanics. Something that Ludwig are having. Howard Carter feels safest for struggling account early. So yeah, this is one of the heroes. King Minos prevents dangerous burst wipe scenario effectively. Philip creates stable frontline during the difficult waves, and Ludwig excels more during chaotic multi-target pressure. So I can say for campaigning, especially when there is heroes involved, I can say Ludwig can do a pretty nice work for you at the end of the day. Still need some testing against with these Dream Castles, especially with the execution of the skills, especially this one that are hero prioritizing heroes. So still need some testing, but yeah. At the end of the day, now let's talk about the Ludwig in the Tesla Storm. Ludwig creates distraction and targeting disruption opportunities. This is where the Tesla is dropping the little minions, but at the end of the day, Ludwig is not good for Tesla Storm. Let's talk about the arena. Ludwig manipulates AI targeting pattern extremely efficiently. So I think at the arena he may actually have good value there at the arena. This is my personal opinion. Again, I need to test it, but from first look, what I experienced with this hero. So yeah, guys, here I'm going to put one other video. You can go and check it out. It can give you some second opinions or some extra information about Heroes of History Epic Empire. Also, if you want to support my channel and get early access to my videos, you can become a member of this channel. Like this, you're going to directly support me and my work. I wish you a great day, and see you in this video right here.